So what do you?
Edition
it is a special edition. Things are heating up. So what do you think about Booker's announcement?
I think that we're fortunate to have this deep bench of talent. When I look at Warren and Booker and Harris, I think any of them would be better than where we are right now.
You got that right.
And I think we have to be careful, though, because there are going to be people who oppose health care, who oppose Social Security, who oppose education, who oppose criminal justice reform, who will tell us what's wrong with them. And I just hope we have the fortitude to ignore the critics from the peanut gallery who tell us that our talented folk are not talented enough.
I'm so glad that you took the high road there. Because I have some other stuff to say, but
Well, go ahead, you know.
no, but in deference to, but you're right, we do have a deep bench of talent.
Sure.
I am less excited about Cory Booker, frankly, than I am of any of the others. I think that Kamala Harris brings a strong and compelling case. Elizabeth Warren, I love her focus on economic issues, of course, and all of her Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, all of that.
Yeah.
Although I could whip her for taking a DNA test.
Yeah.
And deciding that
That was a self-imposed wound right there.
Yeah. But I love the way that she focused on economic issues, which I don't really see from many of the others. You know, but by the time it's over with, we're going to probably be like the Republicans and have 15 of them.
Oh, yeah.
But Cory Booker does not excite me. I would just say that. I would just put it out there. He does not excite me
I thought his
whatsoever.
answer on what you think about women was weak. He's got to practice,
Well,
he's got to do better. But when he started talking about criminal justice and what it means that we have 1 in 3 women who are in prison in this country, that seemed to be coming from his gut. And I think that what people are looking for is authenticity. And that's who he really is. Maybe that's his singer. Maybe
so there's Kamala. So there's Kamala, and that's authenticity. I think this brother, you know, he is a how can I put it? He's a media creation from the beginning. He got the New York Times to run for mayor of Newark. And he does this little fake Jake stuff of I'm gonna stay in the projects. Now you know. Give me a break. You don't think he lives in the projects, Dr. Malveaux? No, Avis, I do not think that, brother man. I know that was some fake Jake stuff, and I just think that a lot of his stuff is fake Jake. But you know what? We're going to see all these people come out and play it out, and it's going to be interesting. Yeah. And you know, it's a year before the first primary.
Absolutely.
So, you know, some people are not going to raise money. Some people are going to raise money. And it's going to be, you know, I think for Democrats, it's exciting, except for the presence of that idiot from Starbucks. I stopped, you know, this morning, I walked by Starbucks. I didn't even get my tea.
Oh, yeah.
I was so bad I didn't even get my tea. I walked by the Starbucks, went home, and put a tea bag in a cup. Oh. Because... that man is cray-cray.
Yeah.
But,
so, Eugene, that's the only brother on the panel. What do you think?
I've learned not to interrupt grown folk when they're talking. The thing is this. I think Booker brings a lot of value to this race. There is a space on the Democrat side for a centrist, or at least a perceived centrist. The work that he did, he's done when it comes to criminal justice reform, you got to look at it. You got to look at the totality of Cory Booker. Right. He's a former mayor. As a mayor, there is opportunity to be a hyper-partisan, but at the end of the day, you do have to bring folk together to get things done. But when he got elevated to the U.S. Senate, you know, he was not one that was afraid to engage the other side.
Spartacus? Spartacus?
Yeah, well.
Come on now.
Yeah, I think that was.
That's what I'm talking about, fake Jake.
I agree with you. I agree with you there. I agree with you there.
Spartacus moment.
I mean, he happened to slip out without getting the ethics hit for that moment. But the thing is this, right? When it came to criminal justice reform, you know, you have folks on the right, you know, Freedom Works and R Street that wanted to get things done. You have folks on the left that have been wanting to get done for a long time. Right. He was one of the first that said, hey, you know what, I'm going to go to the other side. Let's form an actual coalition. We talk to our own people in our own language and get this thing done. And here we have the first step back. That's something he could run on. I mean, Elizabeth Warren, you know, I like Kamala, you know, some of the other senators that are jumping in this race, Gillibrand, they're going to have issues. You know, senators have issues when they run for higher office defining what was your defining moment as a senator. Bernie Sanders is going to have a major issue. What did you get done in the last 25 years as U.S. Senator? Cory Booker has something concrete he can point to where he's led on.
Well, let's talk about that and some of his other issues. Absolutely.
One more major thing is this.
Yeah.
One thing I liked about his video is that he brought the idea of populism back to people of color. That it's not just this, Midwest, white guy left out deal. It's a, hey, folk that are living in our cities are hurting. Folk that are they're working 40, 80 hours a week and still have to figure out how to put food on the table.
Okay, so sweetie, you drank the Kool-Aid.
Listen, I'm Team Harris, President Harris 2021. So
I think that common gain, common purpose, that's a good alliterative phrase. That's gonna play.
Yeah. Well, let's kind of go through some of his issues, and let's pull out a few of them. So these are the main ideas that Booker's running on. Criminal justice reform, which is what you just alluded to, maybe his seminal piece so far in the Senate. Legalize marijuana and expunge possessions convictions, I think is a huge thing.
I can go with a legalized marijuana.
Absolutely. And the other half of that is very important too.
Dr. J lives in the district.
We got to expunge those records as well. I think that's very important. Okay, Medicare. This is very critical here in terms of particularly the difference here between what he is saying and what Kamala kind of fell into the weeds with the other day, right? So he is arguing that we need Medicare open to all, but keep private insurance, all right? He's also arguing for housing tax credits for renters so that they get some similar sort of financial benefit from it in the same way that homeowners do. And he's also an advocate for baby bonds, which is an idea that every child that's born in America gets a $1,000 bond that would grow in value to $50,000 over time that would ultimately work towards in some way reducing the racial wealth. It won't reduce the disparity because everybody gets it. It's a universal program, but at least increase maybe some level of wealth among the African-American community.
And it will increase access for people, but it does not. But again, fake Jake. So it's going to reduce the wealth gap? No, it's not.
It's not going to reduce the wealth
gap.
Universal
if you give everybody $50,000,
even Howard Schultz's children would get it, for example.
Exactly.
Even billionaires' children would get it.
So, again, I think that there's some things that he's put on the table that are innovative.
Right.
Certainly the credit for renters is something that's really important because part of the wealth gap, actually, and if he had better sense, he would sort of hook that into closing the wealth gap, as in, because 42% of African Americans own homes compared to almost 70% of whites. So if you were able to say that you got a tax credit as a renter, that would reduce some aspect of the wealth gap and make it more accessible for people to purchase housing.
Right.
So I just don't see that that's something he could spin. It's something that economists, progressive economists would really, like me, would really sort of get into, but he hasn't not really spun that. I just find, I'm thinking back to 2016 and thinking back to his speech at the Democratic Convention. I just found it less than.
So you're not in love with him. That's what I'm hearing.
Honey, I didn't even like with it.
You're not even in like with him.
No. But whereas with Miss Kamala, and she's my Bay Area homegirl, and very excited about what she's doing. And I'm excited, however, more about what's going on. In other words...
Okay. One other thing I want to point out before we move on to the next subject. Here we now have 2 black people running for president. We may end up with a third if Eric Holder decides to join in. What does this mean for the black vote in terms of fracturing the black vote moving into South Carolina? Does this sort of sentence all of them to not being victorious in their runs for president?
I don't think so.
Mathis is from South Carolina.
I'll say this. I don't think so. I mean, I am of the mind that Kamala probably runs away with this at South Carolina, California. But I do think that with the race being what it is, probably end up with 20-odd people in this thing.
Yeah.
That you can walk out of there with 20, 30%, and then keep moving forward, and it's going to a broker convention. I do think part of the discussion that needs to take place over the next year is that with both, 2 of the 3 black U.S. senators running, there needs to be a new bench of black U.S. senators elected to the U.S. Senate. Because the idea is this, they both run for president, whoever wins, they're both probably going to get tapped for secretaryships.
Yeah.
For appointments.
That's true.
If they want them.
If they want them.
Yeah.
And they may not, because we do have the precedent of people running for president and staying in the Senate
Yeah.
because they have more power there. But Janice is from South Carolina.
Well, and across the South, half the Democrats in the South are African American.
Right.
At least half. So you got 2 black candidates. So they split the black vote. They still got, I agree with your figure, about 20% or thereabouts. So they still going to be the top vote getters, even if they split it, assuming they split it relatively evenly.
Yeah, sounds good.
And I think that Kamala is far more compelling than Booker is. Of course, my biases are showing.
I'm loving that you're loving the AKA, Dr. Malveaux.
Well, you know, every now and then, you people have some sense. Every now and then, you people, but
We got the Delta
boom,
AKA
boom.
thing
But
going.
I just have to keep reiterating. Kellyanne Conway was saying something today about how she thought it was disrespectful of Booker to run against the women and all that. She can't tell us nothing.
No.
She need to send her
Step, what the guy
She's
say?
not
Fall
our friend.
back.
Julián
Fall
Conway.
back.
She need to step
Absolutely.
her.
So we
she
got
need
we
to step
got to
her-
move on, you guys. We got a full show today.
You want to check out Roland Martin Unfiltered? YouTube.com/Roland S. Martin. And subscribe to our YouTube channel. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real. It's Roland Martin Unfiltered. See that name right there? Roland Martin Unfiltered. Like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. That's YouTube.com/Roland S. Martin. And don't forget to turn on your notifications so when we go live, you'll know it.